Yeah, I'm looking forward to this Penn State game. I'm if you guys watch our Power Five pick show, I was pretty high on Penn State. I still am. I'm still backing them. Have placed some bets on them. Looks like we're live now.
Okay.
Let me just double check here. Sorry for the
Yeah.
technical difficulties, guys.
Yeah, we are live.
Okay,
Okay.
I don't know why.
All
Yeah,
right.
looks like we're live. Okay, apologies for that. It just wasn't clicked on here. I don't know if Ben was messing around with stuff. Um, But yeah, okay, we're live back on YouTube here. Welcome in, guys. Sorry about that. A little technical difficulties. You guys got a sneak peek over on Twitch and Kick and Facebook of our my little rant at the beginning of the game, or beginning of the day. But welcome, Ethan. Sorry to cut you off there, but yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling pretty good. Going to this Ohio State Penn State game. Um, Again, we talked about this. We had our opinions on this on the Power Five Picks show. You were pretty big on Ohio State. Are you still pretty big on the Buckeyes?
Not big enough to probably bet them, but I do still think they win and cover.
Okay.
Um, yeah, like you said at the beginning, there's so many boosts for this game, so I haven't quite figured out how I'm going to attack those. Um, I still definitely do lean Ohio State. I might do just a small half unit, maybe a unit wager on them. Um, but there are many other games I'm more confident in. I guess I'll say that.
Yeah, so I'm I'm confident in this game for all the wrong reasons. The other games I'm confident in from a betting aspect because I do think they follow me and your strategy a little bit of tracking those bets that receive a little bit of public love, but line is moving in their favor. So it suggests that some public money is on those. Reverse line movement, aka. But this game and this Penn State game is much more of a gut play, and simply here. And usually my gut plays doesn't work. A family history of bad intestinal problems. So I probably should stop trusting that. But yeah, it's got to be a must win for James Franklin here. He's a fantastic coach, but he can't win the big game. He's never been able to do it as of late, recently, and he just has to win the big game. I understand they're number 3 in the country; they're undefeated, but even here, a loss at a school like Penn State, um, if you continue to lose to these ranked top 5 teams, him losing to Michigan every year, him losing to Ohio State every year, it's got to get old for him. It's got to get old for Penn State, and I can't think of a better year than now than to win this game. They're at home. I understand it's not a night game. It would be a much different story if this was a night game at Happy Valley here, but it's a noon game. Still, the host of College Game Day, a chance to knock off the number 4 team, Ohio State, give them their second loss of the year. It's just such a big game. And Ohio State, I. Maybe I haven't watched a whole lot of Ohio State. I've watched, bits and pieces. I don't think I've watched a full game completely, but I just don't think this Ohio State team is they have all the players. They have, at the beginning of the season, they had everyone. They spent a crap load in recruiting here. They got all their guys, but I just don't think they've played to their potential. They haven't lived up to it. I mean, again, we talked about it, but they almost lost to Nebraska at home last week. They had a touchdown that won that game by 5 points or 4 points. They were down by 3 and had to do a final 3-minute drive to win this game against Nebraska at home. So I'm not super sold on these Buckeyes. I think this is a great game for Penn State to win, and I think they have to win. It's a must win for Penn State for James Franklin, and for that reason, I'm all over him. I'm trying to pull up the stat here. So with my boost, I use it for Penn State on the money line, and I have also taken Penn State at the +3. But my favorite play in this Penn State game is Penn State's team total going over. This last year was a 20-12 win for Ohio State, but in recent years at State College, so when Penn State's at home in this matchup, they scored 31 points in 2022, 25 points, 26 points, 24 points, 24 points, 23 points, and then the last time they failed to score over 21 points at home was in 2009, where they scored 7. So the last, what is that, 5-6 years that they've played at home against Ohio State. They have scored over 23 points in each game. Again, you can't really look into the recent history that much. But Penn State obviously plays up at home like you'd expect against a massive team. So I love their team total over 21 and a half points. I know it's kind of a crappy number. If you want to take it at 21, go ahead. But I do think Penn State's going to score. I'm not super sold on Ohio State's defense. But yeah, that's my play. Sorry about the rambling. I'll send it over to you. But yeah, I'm pretty high on Penn State today. And again, it's a gut play, not a whole lot of stats behind it, but I'm trying to trust the gut in this game.
Yeah, yeah, like I said, I think I might end up staying off this game. Um, I haven't done so well in the noon slate this year at all, and then it kind of just takes the wind out of my sails for the day. So I've kind of looked to avoid overdoing it in the early games and kind of backload my bets. And there are like three other games in the noon slate that I am pretty high on. So I think I'm gonna leave this one off. Watch it just as a college football fan. Um, and root for Penn State with you. I hope you cash out on that. But yeah, your uh, what's the word I'm looking for? Confidence in Penn State is I don't want to be on the other side because I don't feel that strongly about Ohio State.
Yeah, I mean, and again, it's gut confidence. It has nothing to do with betting confidence. It's just I don't know. I'm not sold on. I, I've watched less Penn State than I have Ohio State this year, but I'm just not sold on Ohio State. I don't know. I can't think of a better time for James Franklin to knock him off than this game. I literally can't think of a better time. Or sorry, did I say Ryan Day? James Franklin to knock off Ryan Day. I can't think of a better time. It's got to be it. With that being said, Penn State has let us all down, let the country down, let themselves down in these top five matchups. So we'll see what it is. Super exciting game. Again, that's kicking off in an hour here. It's the host of God. Look at that beautiful landscape over here on College Game Day. Um, you said there's a couple noon slates. I've like on my fourth cup of coffee. I apologize here. You said there's a couple noon games you like. If you want to take it first and go over those games, and I can chime in there. I'm looking at it right here. I have two that I'm seeing. I have bets, three noon bets that I have besides that Penn State game. Four, including the 12:45 game. So I got five noon games. So if you want to take it
Yeah,
away, and I can follow suit.
yeah. So yeah, my favorite play, the one I already have locked in, Syracuse +4. I actually got 4.5. It was -113 on Bet Rivers, but they round up to the nearest cent, so it played out to be like -112. I don't know. Bet Rivers is weird, but it's usually advantageous. Um, but yeah, Vatek here, off three straight victories. Um, and now they have Clemson on deck. This is really more of a play on Syracuse. We talked in Power Five about their most recent matchup with Pittsburgh, where they threw three pick sixes, lost the turnover battle, they were -5 in turnover margin, lost that Thursday night standalone game where all eyes were on them. 13-41. So obviously, who in their right mind is going to want to back Syracuse after everyone just saw they probably watched their first Syracuse game of the season on that Thursday, said, wow, this team is ass, never backing them. Um, Now they can lay for a small number with Virginia Tech, who is on a 3-game win streak. Don't think so. Yeah, bad look ahead, Virginia Tech with Clemson on deck. Syracuse, much better than their last outing. So yeah, Syracuse +4. Think they win the game outright at home. And then also for Syracuse, they've been on the road 3 straight games. They did pull off that overtime win against UNLV to start their road trip. They beat NC State, and then, as we mentioned, the loss to Pittsburgh. After this home game, they do go back on the road at Boston College and at Cal. So 5 of 6 on the road. Really think they need this game. Think they're going to show out. Love Syracuse. Yeah, 4.5 is what I got. +4, +3.5. Love it. Like I said, I think they win that one outright.
They're playing Virginia Tech.
Yep.
Okay, that's why I can't see that on here. I was like, where is that game? Yeah, I unfortunately am all out of my bookie fund, so I physically cannot bet that game since I live in Virginia. But yeah, I love that. I was looking at that on Action. I remember thinking about that on Action. Yeah, it's they got exposed last week. 5 turnovers, 3 pick 6s. They're not going to. They physically can't do that again. It's impossible. So I think it is a good opportunity, an overreaction line. So yeah, I agree with you, but unfortunately, I have no means of tailing you on that one. But I'll be rooting for it for sure.
Um, yeah, another one that I did see your slip. I'm not sure if you were on it or not, but it is a play that typically I think you would be. Arkansas plus 7.5. Are you on Arkansas?
I'm not on it, but I lean that way heavily.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I'm not on them yet either, but I do think I will be. Um, yeah, Ole Miss has Georgia on deck here. Um, I guess my one fear is they are 6-2, so they really can't afford another loss. Um, but that being said, I think they think they can just come in, get a win at Arkansas, and then if they beat Georgia, I mean they're looking pretty for a potential, if they win out, potentially making that college football playoff. So yeah, I don't know. I think Arkansas plus 7.5 at home. Arkansas does have Texas on deck, but they have a bye before that, and I don't think they are really in much of a look ahead position, maybe quite as much as what Ole Miss is. So yeah, it's not a game that I'm like super crazy about, but it is one that I do think I'll be involved with taking the points with Arkansas.
Yeah, I forget why I stayed off of that one, but I did look at it for the same exact reason. I think it was just I don't think it was I don't think Ole Miss was public enough. Or is that where they're playing? I don't think they
Yeah,
I don't think they were public enough for me. And again, I love fading
yeah.
the public. It's like my go-to thing. But I forget why I leaned off of that. I'm not sure. But I that's definitely the side I would lean would be Arkansas there. Um yeah, I'm not quite sure where. But yeah, I like that for the same exact reasonings as you just said. Have you seen this is 4 point movement in the last 30 minutes. This Army Air Force game. Have you seen this? Have you looked at
No.
this one at all? So I'm
Oh
on
wait. Oh yeah.
I'm
So
on
what's
Air
22 and
Force.
a half, right?
Yeah, I'm on Air Force at plus 22. I am just looking and I literally locked that in maybe at 10:30, maybe 30 minutes ago. Seeing Air Force now is plus 18. Seeing literally 4 points of just someone has to be out or there's a tsunami hitting wherever this game is being played. Um
Looks like quarterback is out.
Armies,
Think so.
the
Bryson
stud.
Daly? Is that
I don't know. Let me look him up. He's an absolute freak. Uh,
yep.
he's
Bryson Daly
out.
is out.
Really? God damn it! I like Army now. I mean, dude, he's a freak. He
I
had
mean, at least you got a good number, but
let me just read you his rushing touchdowns on the season so far. He has 19, which I think is 2 behind Genty. 5 touchdowns last game on the ground, 31 carries, 171 yards. The game before, 4 touchdowns, 136 yards. Game before, 2 touchdowns, 110. Game before that, 3 touchdowns, 152. Game before that, 3 touchdowns, 145. This dude has 3, 6, 8, 12, 17 touchdowns in 5 games.
Jesus.
God damn. I mean, it's a great hedge spot. It's a great hedge spot.
You
I
get the
don't.
21.
Snowman, what's going on, my man? Doing a live play-by-play for the Oregon Michigan game at 3:30. Okay, man. We're
Ooh,
on YouTube. I'll tune in. I am heavily involved on Michigan, but it's because I am a Michigan fan. But yeah, that's awesome, and I'll definitely tune into that. Yeah. So, anyways, I'm on Air Force at the plus 22. I wouldn't consider that a very confident play anymore, but yeah, that's crazy that they waited that long to announce the quarterback wasn't playing.
yeah. I saw it was a injury slash illness, so I'm not
Hmm.
sure. Caught the old Debo pneumonia out of the blue.
I guess so. Yeah, it's a huge game for him to miss too against another military academy there.
Hmm.
Anyways, so not confident on that one, but I do have a slip with Air Force at the plus 22 for what that's worth. I might hedge. I'm not sure. Um, sorry, I kind of took back over. Minnesota, Illinois. You betting that?
I feel like I have to.
Minnesota. I unfortunately got them at 3. I'm seeing 2.5 now.
I feel like I have to bet that.
It's got to be the right side, right? It's got
Hasn't
to
been
be.
all year, so yeah,
That's true.
I have to bet it. Like,
Yeah,
I
it's
just
the
have to.
definition of what we do.
Yeah.
Like that's how we do it. That's what we do. Bubba, stop. Um, yeah, that's it. So yeah, for any of you guys unaware, Minnesota is unranked. They're 5-3. They are at number 24 again. Not super highly ranked, but they are ranked. Illinois, who is I believe 6-2. Illinois is a 2.5 to 3 point underdog at home against unranked worst record Minnesota. Nothing more screams to the public than Illinois here. So that's the reason I'm on Minnesota. And I think that's kind of the reason you lean Minnesota as well. So we love taking those ugly lines, is what we do when the line doesn't make sense, when it seems too obvious to take, for example, a ranked home team as an underdog. We usually almost always take the ugly side. So I'm on Minnesota. I've locked them in already. They were, I think, my first bet this week in college football. I locked them in like on Wednesday. Probably should have waited, but you never know with these lines. So whenever I wait, the line shoots up to 4.5. Whenever I bet early, it's doing what it is now. But yeah, I'm on Minnesota. I think they win outright. I honestly might use them as a parlay piece on the money line. I like them. I think they get it done.
Yeah, I think at this point, I'm just gonna hop on their money line. I'm seeing 134 on FanDuel. You can probably get a 130 somewhere. I'll take the time later to shop around, but yeah, I will be on Minnesota money line.
I love it. Sorry, I kind of took over the reins back here.
No,
What's
you're
your
good. That's your. I felt uncomfortable taking over the role of leading the live, so
Another one that I have again, I got a crappier line here. I actually locked in the Cardinal Stanford at the +10. They are at NC State. My buddy, um, I wore his one brother's shirt the other day. The Iowa State linebacker. He has his youngest brother is the linebacker at Stanford. So we're pretty involved with these Stanford Cardinal. They're not very good, but they do love covering these weird games. I honestly think they win this game outright. To be completely honest with you, um, not just being a homer and being a fan for him and Stanford here. I seriously think they win this game outright. I don't think NC State's any good. I do think they're better now that they got rid of Grayson McCall, but this NC State team's bad. They just beat Cal. I guess at Cal was a pretty good win, 24-23. Lost to Syracuse by a touchdown. Lost to Wake by 4. If you guys don't know anything about Wake, they are miserable. Beat Northern Illinois, whatever. Got destroyed by. They have not. Their defense is suspect. And in Stanford isn't good, but their wide receiver is. I don't know if you watched this dude. He is unreal. He is Calvin Johnson type, and he doesn't get talked about because he's on freaking Stanford. Io Manor or whatever is his name. He's an absolute freak. I like Stanford. I think they win it outright, but I'll happily take them at the +9.5. Have bet it as well.
yeah, I just struggle getting a read on these. Every team that has switched conferences,
Yeah.
especially coming from the Pac-12, where I I guess I just wasn't the biggest Pac-12 better. I just really struggled to get a read on, and I think that's part of why I'm struggling so much this year in college football is the realignment. That being said, I Stanford just a little bit this morning, and it was more so just the fact that NC State still on their schedule next week is Duke, and then they still have NC or North Carolina. So two in-state kind of rivalry games left, plus Georgia Tech, who is on a Thursday night for them. So yeah, I mean, I think of the 4 games left on their schedule, this is the one they care about the least. And like you said, Stanford does kind of have a way to play up and cover these games. So yeah, I'm not betting it, but there's no way I would bet NC State.
Yeah. I don't trust these guys at all. Um and I've bet on Stanford quite a bit, and they are kind of my go-to team simply because I'm a little bit invested with a couple other players. So But they've done me pretty well. I unfortunately took them against Clemson because it was a fishy line and they got absolutely rolled. So that was the wrong side. But I think I've had 3 or 4 winners on Stanford this year, and it's similar types of games where it just doesn't make any sense. That one game they won outright. I was on them like plus 17 or something. They won that game outright. Um, but yeah, they're a tricky team, and again, probably not a normal game that people would bet unless you aren't invested, like I am in this game. I have seen, I think I missed the line here, but I have seen a lot of people hammering Purdue. This originally, I believe, Purdue was a +1 point dog at or sorry, a 1 point dog at home against Northwestern. I'm seeing Purdue's now -2.5. So I think I missed a window here on Purdue. I think Purdue probably wins it outright. Again, possibly another parlay piece, but it's a gross Big Ten game. It's just my Big Ten bias coming out here. So I'm not touching that, but I do see a lot of people back in Purdue pretty heavily, in case you guys were wondering about that. If you have nothing left on the 12, I do have a play in this 12:45 Vanderbilt Auburn game.
Yeah, I also do as well. My only thing I'll say is I just wish Purdue was actually good because they're sandwiched in between at Illinois, home against Oregon. Now they have Northwestern at Ohio State on deck versus Penn State after that. So I just wish it was like, I don't know, Wisconsin, Nebraska. I wish that they were sandwiched in that terrible schedule. So I actually lean Northwestern. Um, but I'm not getting there because obviously I don't think Purdue, you know, at this point in their year, there's no real letdowns. There's no real look aheads. They're just kind of going through the motions. So leaving that alone. And then just for the viewing audience, do you have any opinion on Duke, Miami? I
Ooh,
don't really. I'm
that
looking
is
to fade Miami at some point, but I
that's
do kind of think they end up rolling Duke here. But that's just a small lean. I think Miami might be the side, but I don't have much.
yeah. I think people might be. The thing that worries me about Duke is they took SMU to OT last week. People are now
Right.
seeing them as a 21 point dog. Possibly that would be an easy read for just the average Joe. But yeah, I love fading Miami. It's a big spread for them, and they have really struggled to pull away from games. I mean, it's the same. It's Miami, like I said, they're. I don't know if I've ever said this. They're like the Pac-12. They fantastic offense. Their quarterback, Pac-12 quarterback. So they have a Pac-12 offense. It's brutal. It's like they dice up defenses, brutal in a good way. They are very scary offensively. They have one of the Heisman front runners here in Cam Ward, but their defense is terrible. So unfortunately, they're like the USC. They can, sure they can score 50 points, but they're going to allow 45. So they just really struggle to pull away from games. I do think, as much as he's a dumbass, the Duke head coach, the that mother effer, nice one. I don't even know his name. Diaz, right? Diaz, is that his name? I think it's Diaz.
Yeah, I'm not even sure.
I don't know. He's a good coach, though. Unfortunately, I think they win the coaching competition in this game. But yeah, I'm not touching that game. I guess I didn't even realize I was on. I guess I just brushed over it that much. But yeah, that one's ugly. Don't really feel like getting involved.
Yeah.
Um, and then that brings us to Vandy and Auburn. And unfortunately, I do have a bet on this game. And unfortunately, that bet is Auburn on the spread. I did do a half unit. I'm not super confident to make this a full unit, but I did a half unit and I bought a half a point. So I don't want to buy a point and then place a full unit on it. So I took Auburn at the -7. I think it was like -130. Again, made it a half unit play, but yeah, I'm seeing it right now on DraftKings. 88% of the bets coming in on Vandy. Vandy's one of the most public teams of the weekend, and Vandy has proven everyone wrong. They beat Bama. They just lost to Texas by 3. Took Missouri to double overtime. I think they're like 8-0 or 7-1 against the spread. They can't be 8-0 because they lost to Georgia State. But they're pretty good against the spread, and now they're playing Auburn, who is bad. 3-5 Auburn. I understand Auburn's at home, but Auburn has no business getting 7 points against I mean, in normal years, this would make sense, but this Vandy team they're running on absolute fumes. I know their quarterback is possibly banged up a little bit, so maybe that's the reason for this. But I can't back Vandy here. I think Auburn's going to win this game, um, honestly, by a couple touchdowns. So I took them at the -7. Again, I bought a half a point. Only have a half unit on it. Not super confident, but I do think Auburn is 100% the right betting side. But again, Vandy has proven everyone wrong, and unfortunately, the right betting side has not been rolling in the weekends for us. But yeah, I can't. I would suggest not to bet Vandy if you want to bet in this game. I would say it's either Auburn or just pass over it. The smartest play would probably to pass over this play. But I like Auburn. I took up at the -7.
Yeah, I actually have a fairly strong lean on Auburn as well. Yeah, I mean, they did get that win at Kentucky last week, so I think it's a little positive momentum. They ended a four-game slide. They have UL Monroe on deck, so no look ahead. And at this point, I think they see themselves as they can beat Vandy, they can beat UL Monroe, and then it's always a toss up against Alabama at the end of the year. So they might still be able to get a bowl game, or they could beat Texas A&M. But yeah, I like Auburn quite a bit. Obviously, like you said, public loves Vandy after what they did to Alabama, off the tough loss to Texas, only by 3 points. Um, my issue is, and I've said it a couple times on these lives, I know Peyton Thorne so well, or just more well than most, just with his time at Michigan State, and it's so hard to back him. Um, I know I've played Auburn twice this year. I was on them against Oklahoma. I think I just had their money line and uh, headed to the fourth quarter, or no, at the start of the fourth quarter, they're up 21-10, lost 21-27. Had them plus 3.5 against Missouri. That game was 17-6 headed to the fourth, 21-17 final. So lost by the hook. So I am just a little bit tainted on Auburn. Um, for that reason, I am in action on them, not minus the points though. I have taken the money line, parlayed it with another money line tonight that I'll tie back into once we get to that game.
Okay. Yeah, I that's a good. I'm right. I like the Auburn on the money line. Probably shouldn't write that down actually, but I am. I am. I need to build a parlay. There's a boost out there, and I've saved $10 to build myself a parlay today. It's my little treat for the weekend. So, um, trying to figure out teams to add to that. But yeah, Auburn possibly is a pretty decent price there. Anything else before we get to the 3:30? I'm only saying there's only one 2 o'clock game.
Yeah, it's such a weird
I feel like
slate.
there's no games on. There's like every
There's
team on
not.
bye.
Yeah,
Like
a lot of them are.
there's no Bama, right?
No Bama, no I don't think LSU plays.
Tennessee
Um,
does.
does
Yeah, I just feel like
Texas
we're.
play? I think
I,
Texas is all off.
yeah, I don't think. Yeah, there's a lot of teams off.
Yeah.
Week 10 bye seems late. I guess the
Colorado,
SEC. Yeah, no Colorado. Yeah, there's no night games either.
none.
The games end at 8. The
Yeah,
last game's at 8. What am I gonna do when I'm in piss at 11:30?
I know.
Why is my tuck me in? Have a good weekend bet? NBA. Do we have any NBA late games? Oh, we have a 10:40 NBA OKC and the Clippers. That'll be my tuck me in bet. Okay. Anyways, 3:30. Just want to skip to that. We're going a little slow here. I apologize, but 3:30. Um, unless you have a big read on Oregon, Michigan, I will keep this one really short. I'm on Michigan. Oregon is public. I originally did like Michigan to cover. This line opened at 15 and a half. It's dropped down to 14 and a half. I'm seeing 80+% of the bets coming in on Oregon. I think it's just a little too many points at home. I definitely think Oregon's going to win this game. I'm not calling for a Michigan outright upset. But I think it's a little too many points. And um, yeah, also no Will Johnson for Michigan. The line is not affected at all from that. Um, yeah, I think Michigan. Actually, I don't trust these guys at all. So let's just skip over it. I'm on Michigan at the plus 14 and a half. Unless you have a better read or any more insight that's not just me sucking my own team's weenie.
Yeah, I mean, I could see Oregon winning by 14 and winning by the hook on Michigan. I could see them winning by 17 and losing. So, absolutely no feel read play anything for me on that game.
Perfect. Let's skip it over then. Florida, Georgia. Florida, Georgia line. Wow, 14 and a half now. This was at like 16, 15 and a half earlier today. I'm seeing a lot of people on Florida. Um, I get it because I don't know. Georgia's a weird team. They're now number two. Did they had a bye last week, did they? Is this their first game
Um,
off of Texas's win?
yes. Yep.
Okay. So they must have had a bye. Now they're at home against Florida, Georgia. I assume there's a little bit of bad blood there. I lean Florida, but this team is freaking bad. I might get involved. I might get involved with Florida. You got anything?
I think I'm getting involved in Florida. Um, and yeah, it's really, I mean, yeah, they had a bye after the Texas win, but it's still just a huge victory. You're feeling good about yourself again. You're number two. You have Ole Miss on deck on the road, followed by a home game against Tennessee. So two teams that you need to beat way more than you need to focus on Florida, who, like you said, is not good. Um, yeah, I mean, I guess my worry is Florida does have Georgia, Texas, LSU, Ole Miss back to back to back to back, but they're 4-3. They're not playing for a championship. They're not playing for a playoff. Um, they'd love to beat Georgia. So yeah, I think God, that one's gonna suck. But I think I'll be on Florida.
Yeah, and Georgia just hasn't pulled away from hardly anyone. It feels like they're always winning by 3 to 7 points or something gross. With that being said, they'll probably win by 21 in this game.
Right.
But yeah, I might get involved. I've seen a lot of people on Florida, so I do think that's the right side. Indiana, Michigan State. I've still yet to bet this one. I am very scarred fading Indiana. I know as soon as I leave them off, they're going to lose outright. So I most likely will be involved on Michigan State. I think I'm going to wait a little bit. It's at 7.5 now. This was at 8 when we recorded our Power 5 pick show. We are both on Sparty. Are you still on Sparty?
I love Sparty,
Okay.
and I do think they win outright.
Wow. I love
And I
that
think I
pick.
might sprinkle it.
I love it.
The only reason I'm not on this play yet is because it's plus 7.5, like minus 110, 105 everywhere, except FanDuel has a minus 114, and there's a boost on FanDuel. So I'm trying to get that to come back down towards the market price before I lay it, because I do think it will eventually get back to 110 or 105 on FanDuel.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, I that's the only thing that's held me off betting it at this point. But yeah, maybe my favorite bet of the day, second favorite maybe.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, fuck. I'm there. Plus 7.5. You don't think it's gonna get back up to 8? Probably not.
Probably not.
If you're already seeing 105s on the minus or on the plus
It's
seven and a half.
minus 114. That was probably like
Or
an
sorry.
hour or two ago. But yeah, minus 114 on FanDuel. Most other places were, well, everywhere else was minus 110 at worst.
Okay.
Let me see. I think Caesars had a minus 105. Yeah, it's still minus 105 on Caesars.
Okay. I just took them to plus 7.5. Knowing my luck, I don't know, if I keep waiting, it'll probably be at 7. So 7.5, I locked them in. Damn it. I love it though.
I like it.
I love it. They're at some point, Indiana. They're good. They're a very good team. But I still don't think they're number 13 good. I'm still not super sold on their schedule. Obviously, a good win against Nebraska and Washington, but it's
Yeah, and
Nebraska and Washington.
when we talked about this game on Power Five, we talked about the look ahead to Michigan where you want to beat the national champion. Didn't even take into account that they played the national champion runner up in the first half of the sandwich. So here is my one fear though about Indiana. I still think Michigan State covers and has a good chance to win outright, but it is like Washington last year where I feel like down the stretch I just kept betting against them. I'm like, this is the one. Like this has to be the one where they don't win or cover. And they just kept rolling and kept winning. So I guess that could be just a small fear, but yeah, I do like Michigan State.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like it, but I need to keep fading Indiana because as soon as I leave them off, it's gonna go pretty poorly. I love it. So we're both on our we're both homering this weekend with Michigan
Yep.
State and Michigan. I've never seen that go wrong. Um, Texas Tech, Iowa State. It's a pretty big spread there for Iowa State, but I'm done fading that team because I just lose money fading Iowa State. Kansas State, Houston. No play on that for me. You have anything on those two games?
No, lean Texas Tech, but no.
Okay. I do have a play in his UCLA Nebraska game, and I have taken UCLA on the +7 here. Really got a bad line, but they're still sitting at +7. But I believe this was at 9.5 when it opened on Monday or Sunday. Obviously, Nebraska almost knocked off Ohio State at Ohio State last week. UCLA traveling all the way traveling halfway across the country to play Nebraska. 83% of the bets coming in on the Huskers at the -7. Again, this line has dropped 2.5 points in favor of UCLA since open, with all the bets coming in on Nebraska. Give me UCLA at the +7. I also made this a half unit play. Not super confident in it, but got to trust reverse line movement. And I do have a weird feeling that UCLA plays better on the road than they do at home. I don't know why I think that, but it's stuck in my head. So I took UCLA on the spread. Again, not super confident, but it is the movement that I am looking for to make bets. It's that reverse line movement that I love. So yeah, give me the Bruins +7, half unit, not super confident.
Yeah, it's a lean for mine too. I have not pulled trigger. Don't know if I will. Definitely a lean UCLA +7.
Love it. And then let me just keep going. I don't think I have anything else in the 3:30. We have North Carolina, Florida State, Arizona, UCF, UL Monroe, Marshall, Arizona State, Washington, or Oklahoma State, Middle Tennessee State, UTEP. Anything in there for you?
No, I've heard a lot of people are on Florida State, which is just absolutely disgusting. They're only catching 2.5 at home. I know North Carolina's not good, but I can't get
Yeah.
myself on Florida State. Um,
Ooh, I might be on them. Fuck.
my gut kind of tells me UCF covers against Arizona, but again, I don't think I'll play that. Um, yeah, that's really it for me. Um,
Okay.
Oak State probably covers +4, but yeah,
Yeah, they're a disappointment this year.
yeah.
Please don't watch our Big 12 preview because we thought it was going to be a battle between Oklahoma State, Kansas State, and Utah to win that one. Utah has fallen off the face of the earth. OK State, I think, has 5 losses. I think Kansas State is probably going to walk away at the Big 12. So bad read by us. But unfortunately, didn't realize Cam Rising was his next stop is going to be the retirement home, the assisted living. That guy's terrible.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, Big 12 is an absolute shit show right now. Moving on. God, I don't see anything from me until 7:30, unless there's something in between that pile of shit that you want to talk about.
Um, gut play tells me my UMass Minutemen covered 19 against Mississippi State, but I don't think I'll play it. But yeah, other than that, yeah, not much for the night.
Yep. Let's quickly do the nightcap here. We want to get off pretty soon, so we'll buzz through this just so I don't feel stressed out right before kickoff. Um, Texas A&M, South Carolina. I am on South Carolina. I have them at the +3.5 earlier this week. They're +3 now. I love them. I believe we talked about the show. Yes, we talked about the show on Power Five picks. Bad spot for A&M. Actually, it's a weird spot for A&M. Coming off a win against LSU, they have a bye next week, and then they have New Mexico State. So basically, a double bye for A&M. All that standing in the way of a 3-week rest is South Carolina. At South Carolina, pesky team at home. I think South Carolina has a decent opportunity to win this game outright. With that being said, I only did a half unit because these lines just aren't hitting, especially these A&M South Carolina lines. They're just weird. But I got to trust the Gamecocks at home. I got them at the +3.5. Um, and that, yeah. Anything on that game for you?
Yeah, South Carolina for me as well. And yeah, talked about it in Power Five. So if you want
Yep.
a better breakdown on it, go check that video out before kickoff. But South Carolina for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna rattle off a couple here. I'm seeing a lot of people on Louisville against Clemson. I lean that as well. Don't know if I'll get involved. Seen a lot of people on Washington at home against USC. Wisconsin, Iowa will be a good Big Ten, an old-fashioned Big Ten matchup at 7:30 tonight. We have Kentucky, Tennessee. I have no read on that yet either. Anything on those games before we get into the one game I do have a bet on? Our second and final ranked game, Pittsburgh and SMU.
Yeah, smallest lean on Louisville, won't play it. Like Iowa and like Washington, but two games that I want to dig in a little bit more to. Might end up on one, if not both.
Yeah, I like it. I've seen a lot of people in Washington. Unfortunately, the guy that I do tail got Washington at the +3, and now they're +2. So it's a bad number, but I think Washington might win it outright. We will see. Anything on that Kentucky, Tennessee?
Nope, nothing Kentucky, Tennessee, nothing on TCU Baylor either. I do have Pittsburgh SMU as well, and that's really it for me.
Okay. Pitt, SMU. Let's get into it. You still high on the Mustangs?
High on the Mustangs.
Okay. I got them at the.
SMU. Oh, go
I'm
ahead.
I'm on a -7. I've locked it in.
Yeah, so I've not locked that in. I think I will, but SMU is my money line with Auburn. Think both
Ooh,
teams win it.
lovely.
-117.
Ooh,
Um,
God,
yeah,
that's good.
so locked in that two-teamer. Auburn, SMU money line parlay. And then likely we'll have another unit on SMU spread because I do think they win in a complete blowout.
God, I like that. I like that. I could feel the tingle down my spine there. Beautiful, beautiful. Is that it for you?
That's it for college. I do have like
Go
a
ahead.
couple plays, NBA, NHL. If you just want me to
Yeah,
rifle those off.
take it away. I haven't
Um,
even looked at those yet, so go ahead.
okay. I actually have not looked at the full card for NHL, but just one play. It is a noon start here, so starts in 30 minutes with all the college football. Stars on the money line. It's a pick 'em. These teams are on the second of a back to back. They're playing in Finland. So they played yesterday at 2 p.m. Eastern. Florida did win 6-4. Um, I was always looking at taking the loser of game one, playing them in game two here. Both teams, uh, top of the league here. So two really good teams. It's not like we're taking a bad like Chicago team to come back and beat the Panthers. So yeah, I like Dallas. Splitting that series in Finland, getting the win at the pick'em price. That's really it. That's all I've really looked at so far in hockey. Um, I've locked in one NBA play that I really like, and then I have two other leans. I'll just quick go through them. Hornets +11, same thing. Second of a back to back between the Celtics and the Hornets. Celtics obviously are going to get all the love. They just won by 15 points last night. Um, it's their third in 4 nights for Boston. Yeah, I don't know. A Saturday night home game for the Hornets. I think they can do enough to cover the 11. Small lean on the Sixers. They've only played one game this whole week. Other than that, their last game was Sunday. It was a loss to the Pistons. Now they're back home. They're hosting the Grizzlies, who have kind of been impressive. They're off a win against the Bucks. They're playing their third in 4 nights. They played the Nets Wednesday, Bucks Thursday. Now they have to travel and play the Sixers. Sixers only have one win. Pick 'em price. I like the Sixers at home to get that one done. And then the one I've locked in is the Bucks on the money line. 1-4 Bucks hosting the 6-0 Cavs. Bucks I got them at like -112, I think, or 113. Um, Cavs second of a back to back with travel. They played at home against Orlando. Now have to go up to Milwaukee. They played at home on Wednesday as well against the Lakers. So they're third in 4 nights. Um, and yeah, I think the Bucks are hungry for a home win Saturday night. 4-game losing streak, 3 of which were on the road. Now they're back home, place they're more comfortable at. So they haven't won since their opening game. Yeah, kind of like what you say too in the early parts of the season. The 1-4 team favor against the 6-0. Obviously, we know the Bucks are better than 1-4, but locked it in already. Give me the Bucks on the money line.
I love it. I just locked in 2 NHL plays. Added the Stars with you at the pick'em price, and I have locked in the Preds at the money line.
Yeah, I
Um,
looked at that too.
Predators are a favorite, -130 favorite, not even a pick 'em, -130 favorite against the Avs. I just looked at the Avs. I was like, okay, what's going on here? Is McKinnon out? No, it looks like everyone's still in. So just a weird price. And I know the Preds got some new additions. They're going to be a little bit of a public team moving forward. But Preds 3-6-1 against the at home against the Avs, 5-6. Um, yeah, 3-win team is a -130 favorite against. We all know the Avalanche. Yeah, I'll take a shot on the Preds. Ben did just lock in the Stars as well. I got to start trusting your back to back system there.
Yeah, I don't know. It's been a
um,
rough week.
and then NBA, I really like that. What's the what's the money or what's the betting percentage at for this
I'm seeing
Bucks game?
82% on the Cavs.
Oh yeah, sign me up. Not even. That's all I needed. Bucks on the money line. Okay,
This is
I'm
also the
locked in.
first of a back-to-back for these 2 teams, so and I think the next one's in Cleveland on Monday, I wanna say, so
Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah, I'm there at now. I got $21.80 to put on a bullshit parlay, um, which is stupid because I know that's a unit for me, and I've been making a half unit plays. Now I'm gonna put $20 on a plus 1,000 parlay because that's unit management 101, guys. Um, all right, beautiful. Do you have anything you want to say before we? Wow, 26 minutes until kickoff. I'm feeling that giddy parts right now. We do want to get off so we can let our hearts cool down a little bit before we start blowing through some money. But anything you want to add before we sign off here?
Yeah, just really quick, yeah, 18 percent of the bets coming in on Milwaukee, 59% of the money. So
Yeah,
on the money line. Um, no, yeah, that's it. It's getting
beautiful.
down to the wire here, nervous. Need a big day. Should be back tomorrow for the live, but
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, let's have a big day. We need it. I did post all of my plays on Twitter. I know Ethan will probably post them as well. I will have some additions on there. But good luck, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. Hopefully, you guys can have a profitable Saturday in college football. We will see you tomorrow for some NFL, and hopefully, we can continue this win streak moving forward. But we'll see you guys. Have a good weekend. Have a good